الحمد لله حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ المزيد ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وبعظيم سلطانك سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك انت كما اثنيت على نفسك. اشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد ان محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه ونبيه وخير نبي ارسله الله العالم به بشيرا ونذيرا وداعيا الى الله باذنه وسراجا منيرا. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى ال سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم في العالمين انك حميد مجيد. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who seeks His assistance and guidance and His forgiveness, and we take refuge with Him from the evil within our soul and from the consequences of our misdeeds. Whoever He guides, whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is guiding sooner than misdeed, whoever misdeeds and can guide, I testify there's nothing and no one worthy of worship besides Allah. And I just testify that Muhammad, son of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, the servant and messenger. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant him peace and to send him our salutations. Just as we ask him to grant peace to his family members, his companions, and everyone who follows in goodness and goodwill into the meeting and reckoning for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah, we have reached the end of the month of Ramadan, or at least the near end of the month of Ramadan. And it's important for us to keep in mind that while many of us believe that the United Power is the 27th night, that there are many strong opinions that it happens during the last 10 days, during the odd nights, or some opinions that it happens during the even nights, and even an opinion that says that the night of power happens some day during the year, and that particular day shifts every single year. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. I would say that the reason for those type of discrepancies is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us not to put all of our eggs in a single basket. He doesn't want us to simply focus on that day. So as we know, it's a tendency that after the 27th night of the month that we sort of shift into Eid mode. And shifting into Eid mode, we start to get ready and we think that it's okay now for me to reduce the amount of Quran that I recite. It's okay for me to eat more food. It is okay for me to watch more TV, among other things, because the 27th night has passed, and so now we're going into Eid. And we should definitely be looking forward to a day of celebration, a day of gratitude. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, don't lose sight of the very fact that the aim of the fast and the aim of the month of Ramadan was for us to become people who are deeper in our sense of consciousness for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is why at the end of the verse of fasting, Allah says, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, that He's made fasting incumbent upon you so that you would become people of taqwa, people who are conscious of Allah, people who are conscientious. And that's important to take into consideration, especially being that the Sahaba themselves were very apprehensive at the end of the month about whether or not their fast was accepted, that they were very diligent to increase their worship during the month. And then they spent a significant amount of time a bit uneasy about whether or not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted their fast. And some of them would say that it will be wonderful, of course paraphrasing, that what a wonderful thing would be if I were to know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted my deeds, accepted my work. That is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He says, إِنَّمَا يَتَقَبَّلُ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْمُتَّقِينَ, because Allah, He accepts from the righteous. So if I knew that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted my deeds, it would be an indication that I was among those who were righteous, those of the God conscious, those same people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that this particular book is a source of guidance for them. هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. And the Quran has been revealed for all humanity, but it is a guidance, and its guidance can truly only be taken from the God conscience. The Prophet ﷺ, he taught us that whoever stands or fasts the month of Ramadan, whoever fasts the month of Ramadan out of Iman, out of faith in Allah, out of faith in His Messenger, out of faith in this book, the belief that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made this, had given us this act, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed this book, that this is our source of guidance. Whoever fasts Ramadan out of iman, wahtisaban, and out of expectation for reward, غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنبِهِ, then any sins that have been done before are forgiven. Now that means something if you believe that you need to be forgiven and you realize how much you need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if you're fasted for that reason, then Allah says He'll give you forgiveness. وَمَنْ قَامَ رَمَضَانَ إِيمَانًا وَاحْتِسَابًا غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنبِهِ. And whoever stands during the month of Ramadan out of iman and out of expectation and anticipation of reward, then Allah says anything you've already done is forgiven. وَمَنْ قَامَ لَيْلَةَ الْقَدْرِ إِيمَانًا وَاحْتِسَابًا غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنبِهِ. And whoever stands during the night of power, out of faith, out of expectation, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive the person of whatever has been done before. Now the scholars say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He rewards the individual with forgiveness during the night of Qadr, at the end of the night. That you get your reward. If you have already encountered that night, then you have already been rewarded. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already rewarded you of the sort of type of word that of a lifetime of worship. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already given you that reward. But your reward for fasting and standing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not give it to you until you have completed the task. So we're still during the month of Ramadan. If we want the forgiveness that comes with the month of Ramadan out of the fasting and standing, especially if we did not receive the reward from the night of power, then we ourselves, we should make sure we continue our due diligence during the rest of these days, be it ending on Sunday or will be if it ends tomorrow or if it ends on Sunday. An important thing to consider. In a hadith reported by Imam Ahmad bin Hamid or the authority of Abu Hurairah, he said, the Messenger of Allah said, أعطيت أمتي خمس خصال في رمضان. أعطيت أمتي خمس خصال في رمضان. That my ummah has been given 5 traits or 5 special things during the month of Ramadan. لم يعطها أمة غيرهم. No ummah other than them have been given these 5 things. خلوف فم الصائم أطيب عند الله من ريح المسك. The first thing is that the odor left by the breath of the fasting person is more delightful to God than the scent of musk. That is the first thing. For Allah, it's more delightful than musk. Then he says, وَتَسْتَغْفِرُ لَهُمَ الْمَلَائِكَةُ حَتَّى يُفْطِرُوا. The angels, they seek or ask forgiveness for them until they break their fast. Special reward during this month. وَيُزَيِّنُ اللَّهُ كُلَّ يَوْمٍ جَنَّةً. Thirdly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He embellishes or improves your estate in Jannah every single day. That He has something waiting for you, all of us, in Jannah. And every single day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He embellishes it. وَيَقُولُ يُوشِكُ عِبَادِي أَنْ يَكُفُّ عَنْهُمَ الْمُؤْنَةَ بَالْأَذَى. He said, and He will say, and He says, my servants soon will rid themselves of any needs or any harm that may come to them. وَيُسِيرُ إِلَيْكَ. And they shall return to you, or return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then He says, وَيُصَفَّدُ فِيهِ مَرَضَةُ الشَّيَاطِينِ. And the rebellious jinn, or rebellious demonic forces of this world, they are suppressed, they're placed in shackles. فَلَا يَخْلَصُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى مَا كَانُوا يَخْلَصُونَ إِلَيْهِ فِي غَيْرِهِ. So they are not able to do during this time what they were able to do outside of this time, which gives the impression that the jinn, they're still present. Contrary to other understanding, that it gives the impression that they're still present, except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ones He locks up are the more rebellious one. That those are more rebellious among them, and for those who remain, they're not able to do what they typically are able to do. At any rate, their effect is reduced. وَيَغْفِرُ لَهُمْ فِي آخِرِ لَيْلَةٍ فِيهِ, and He will forgive them during the last night of the month. That's a special gift of the month of Ramadan. فَقِيلَ لَهُ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ أَهِيَ لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ. Some of the Sahaba heard him say this during the last night of the month. Allah will forgive them. He said, well, Ya Rasulullah, is it this the night of power? The Prophet responded, La, no. ولكن العامل إنما يوفى أجره إذا قضاه. إن العامل إنما يوفى أجره إذا قضى عمله. He said, no, this is simply the very fact that a worker or a laborer is given his wage once he finishes it. Meaning that the reward for fasting and for standing, we don't receive that until we finish our work. And the work is not finished. When the night of power comes, it doesn't mean that the work is finished. We just keep in mind during the remainder of this time that we have, during this blessed month, that there are many different ways that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps us to secure forgiveness. And as he mentioned already, that one way is to fast. A second thing is to stand in Taraweeh in the night. Thirdly is to be standing during the night of power. Tonight is an odd night once again. And if it wasn't before, we haven't already encountered the night, perhaps it's tonight. That those are three ways that we achieve Allah's forgiveness for those who actually care. A fourth way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He helps us secure forgiveness is by promising us that if we give someone who is fasting something to break their fast with, taftir as-sa'im, if we give them, and this doesn't mean that you invite them to your home, it's not even that. You prepare a great meal, no, you even give them someone a date. Right? Give them water, give them something to break their fast with, that in itself is a source of forgiveness. As the Prophet ﷺ also told us that when we break our fast, that when a person breaks his or her fast, there's a prayer among your prayers that you make which will not be rejected. So make sure that you increase your prayers during that time. Another thing that will secure for us forgiveness during the rest of this time or during the entire month is the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another is istighfar, asking forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all of us need forgiveness. And I'm not just talking about the elderly among us, the seniors. I'm not even only talking about those who are not seniors yet, but are adults. I'm talking about even our young brothers and sisters, even our young teenagers. All of you need forgiveness too. You also need forgiveness, not just the adults. That you all do things, bad things. We all do bad things. You know, right now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is recording your deeds, the good and the bad. You are young adults, even though people may treat you in a different way. So be concerned about Allah's forgiveness. Be concerned about Allah will punish you for things you do badly, but He also will reward you immensely if you do greater things. It's istighfar in this month, and it is related that Abu Hurairah reported the Prophet ﷺ talks about, he mentioned that during the month of Ramadan, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive everyone illa man aba, except for the one who refuses. And the Sahaba said, and who would refuse? And the Prophet ﷺ, the one who refuses to ask forgiveness. So everyone was forgiven during this month, just by doing things like that. But then also the angels, they ask forgiveness for the person, for the fasting person. That is another thing to reflect upon. And then lastly, I'll just conclude, and I know that we've been waiting for a while, but Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali has the following to say about the end of the month of Ramadan. He said, قال سعيد عن قتادة كان يقال من لم يغفر له في رمضان فلن يغفر له فيما سواه. It's related that one of our predecessors said that whoever is not forgiven during the month of Ramadan, then he will not be forgiven outside of the month of Ramadan. وفي حديث آخر إذا لم يغفر له في رمضان فمتى يغفر لمن لا يغفر له في هذا الشهر. And in another narration, if a person is not forgiven during the month of Ramadan, then when will the one who will not be forgiven and during this month be forgiven. Ibn Rajab goes on, he says, "Man yaqbalu man rudda fi laylat al-qadr." Who will accept the one who was rejected during the night of power? Mata yaslahu man yaslahu fi Ramadan. And when will the individual who does not correct himself be corrected? When will the one who doesn't correct himself during the month of Ramadan be corrected? حتى يصلح من كان به فيه من داء. To the point that the one who actually has an illness during this month actually achieves well-being. How or when will they be rectified if they cannot or they're not rectified during this month? Then he says, الجهالة والغفلة مرضان. He says, ignorance and heedlessness are two types of illnesses. They are two illnesses. كل ما لا يثمر من الأشجار في أوان الثمار فإنه يقطع ثم يوقد في النار. So anything or any time fruit itself, when it grows on a tree and it doesn't ripen, and the time when it is expected to be become ripe, only thing that happens to it is that it is clipped, it is cut off, and it is tossed into a fire. من فرط في الزرع في وقت البذار لم يحصد يوم الحصاد غير الندر والخسار. He said, and anyone who is negligent regarding the reaping, the sowing of their fruits, when they sow their fruits, anyone who is negligent when they do so, is there anyone irresponsible in doing so, when it is expected for them to actually plant those seeds, they will not reap anything when the time of the harvest comes, other than remorse and ruin. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, allow for us to reap what we sow, the good things that we reap the good things that we sow during this month and after this month. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us consistency beyond this month, that any lessons that we learn, any good things and virtues that we acquired in this month, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to be consistent and sustain those actions after the month of Ramadan, rather than treating this month as just one of those occasions where we just increase our good and act kind to one another, as many people's attitude with regard to things like Christmas, unfortunately. That we don't want to be Ramadan Muslims, right? As some people are Christian or Christmas Christians. That is something that we have to make sure that we try our best to avoid. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us and to grant us assistance and guidance. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء وسيد المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحابته أجمعين. In closing, just once again, I'd just like to re-emphasize the importance of us taking advantage of the remainder of these days, remembering that the goal is for us to become better people. And when we become better people, we're able to take in more of the light of guidance, the guidance of the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the month of Ramadan, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. That the month of Ramadan is the month wherein the Quran is revealed as a guidance for humanity, clarifications of the guidance, and the criterion. That the Quran, or the month of Ramadan, is actually a celebration of the Quran. It is not simply just something we do as a cultural practice of fasting. Everybody's fasting and not eating, not drinking. But it is a celebration of the revelation of the Quran to humanity, and is intended to be a guide for all humanity. And we as Muslims have to value what we've been given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was a gift given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is the foundation of all good and all that is true for the believer. Right? And that is our foundation. And anytime something clashes with it, then we will return to our foundation. Right? We return to our foundation regardless of how much pressure we may be receiving from outside. But I do believe that it's important for us that if we have developed the habit of to pray our prayers on time, to pray our voluntary prayers, and even if we typically didn't fast outside the month of Ramadan, that we should continue to fast. We should take advantage of the 6 days of Shawwal. We should make a regular habit of fasting a couple of days, 1 or 2 days a week at least, among other things. Charity. May Allah accept all of it. May Allah accept all of it. You know what I mean? And, so this is my advice and counsel for myself, first and foremost, and then for you. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us all and protect us all as well from the evil of the spiritual realm and the physical realm. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم تقبل منا صيامنا. اللهم تقبل منا صيامنا يا رب العالمين. اللهم تقبل منا قيامنا في هذا الشهر المبارك يا رب العالمين. اللهم تقبل منا قيام في ليلة القدر يا رب العالمين. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا قرة أعين من أزواجنا وذريتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا اجعلنا مقيم الصلاة من ذريتنا. ربنا وتقبل دعاء. ربنا اغفر لنا ولوالدينا من المؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان. اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان. اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان واجعلنا من الراشدين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تحول به بيننا وبين معاصيك ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا بها جنتك من اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصيبات الدنيا ومتعنا باسماعنا وابصارنا وقوتنا ما احييتنا واجعله الوارث منا واجعل ثأرنا على من ظلمنا وانصرنا على من عادانا ولا تجعل مصيبتنا في ديننا ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا ولا تسلط علينا بذنوبنا من لا يخافك فينا ولا يرحمنا. اللهم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا والآخرة إلا قضيتها يا أرحم الراحمين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه الأخيار وسلم تسليما كثيرا. وسبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. وأقم الصلاة.